Alex, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you.
We want to talk about creativity in football, first of all. And this idea that so often a sport which requires creativity can also be a world that suppresses your creativity. Does that ring a bell with you?
Yeah, it does, but I'm just lucky I haven't had anyone around me, coaches or family members that's restricted that. They've always encouraged me to go and be myself. So I've never felt that sort of pressure that I can't be myself.
So what was your upbringing like where freedom of expression was encouraged?
Well, traditionally I came from a Nigerian background. So in my household, there was me, my sister, my mum and dad. And we're literally just being ourselves, dancing around the house, playing football in the house. Sometimes my mum used to get a bit annoyed because I'm slide tackling balloons and kicking cans in the house. But so obviously everyone knows I'm blessed to have an uncle in JJ Okocha. So I used to go watch his games, and especially when he was at Bolton in a team where Sam Allardyce is the manager. And with all due respect to Sam Allardyce, he's not one that attracts or plays attractive football. But with my uncle there, he allowed him to go and express himself. He always played with a smile on his face. So literally just growing up watching him and the family I had, it just said, go be you. And I didn't have any doubts about being myself.
And what does that actually mean though, Alex, when they say go and be you? Because you can hear that used a lot, but what does it mean for you?
Well, me, I'm a bubbly character. My friends can tell you, some of my peoples are here, I'm a bubbly, loud character. And I've been showing that recently on my social media platforms so people can see the real me. But I just like to vibes with my friends on the pitch. They like to see me. I'll probably have a bit of banter with my boys on the pitch. And that's literally me in a nutshell. I just like to be a happy guy.
So I think something might have changed for you in the last little while, because suddenly you are expressing yourself. You are talking about your music. I really want to have a conversation with you about that. You've got a YouTube channel. You're uploading content. Was there a period where you didn't feel able to be yourself? And do you now feel like you've reached a point where you can?
I wouldn't say not be myself, but just showcase who I am in a sense where I've always been the same person, but I didn't really put it out there like the YouTube channels or on the Instagrams or the TikToks. But if you can ask my friends, I'll literally be dancing around. Maybe if we go Nando's, we'll just be being clowns. If we're in a car park, we're literally dancing till silly o'clock. But now you can see it. Even when I play football, maybe in football, I'm a bit more less expressive in a sense. Now I play in midfield. I literally try to get the ball and play forward. Whereas when I was younger, I used to try to do all the tricks and nutmegs, but not anymore. But I've always been the same. It's just that recently I've been showcasing the music. I've been doing music since I was in secondary school. But now I'm showing it to everyone that I enjoy putting out music and I like doing it. I like going to the studio with my friends. So it's literally just showing what I do on a social media platform.
So how has that changed then? Why are you suddenly feeling like you can talk about it?
Yeah, that cliche saying that you should focus on football. When I was young, they would say don't be distracted, and if I was living how I was living, no, I'm still living the same. But if I was showing what I was doing back then, and if I had one band performance, they'll blame it on the distraction that he's in the studio, he should be going to bed maybe 5 minutes earlier, or he's not focused on his football. But now I've got to a stage where I feel like it's come of age, where it's I'm still going to be me. I want to show what I'm doing, but I'm showing you I'm also 100% focused on football.
We interviewed Rio Ferdinand on this, and he spoke about the challenges that David Gill and Alex Ferguson sort of issued to him when he opened a restaurant. They didn't feel he should be doing anything outside of that guise of just focusing on football. Have you ever had a coach or somebody within in a club that has challenged you about the music or some of the creative output?
Yeah, well, all of them have said, everyone knows I like to play football outside of football with my friends. I like to go goals and play five-a-side. Every manager said, Alex, what are you doing? I can't lie. But I never touch wood. I never get injured. So I just enjoy playing football with my friends. I have a laugh. So that one, they always say, what you're doing. I can't help it if I go play football with my friends, even though the intensity is very low. With the music, I can only go off my current manager, Marco Silva. He don't mind my music. There's been times he's in the gym and he's bopping his head as well. He don't mind. But the Snapchats, he did say, as long as it's not because there's been a few times he's been answering the interview from Alex's Snapchat, his ankle is a bit flared up. Is he going to play the next game? So the next day he called me and said, Alex, why are you posting your ankle on Snapchat? And I've had to be like, I knew I was going to play. I just iced it. It wasn't anything major. But yeah, Marco Silva doesn't mind what I do on my social media as long as it's positive. And even my Nigerian manager likes to get involved. He wants to be recorded.
Is that right?
I don't know if you've seen, he's been dancing on my YouTube. He likes it. So I've never had an issue with what I put out. All the managers encourage me to do it as long as I'm performing on the pitch.
And what does finding this freedom do for you?
I can just be me 24/7. I don't have to like hide who I am. So I can go, like I can be bubbly at home and I can still be the same bubbly person at training. I'm not the loudest, but I'm up there. There's like people like Calvin Bassey. I don't know if everyone knows Calvin Bassey and Samuel Chukwueze. So us three, literally just round the training ground making noise. And the manager, no one minds because they know like we're still focused. We're still going to give 100% on the pitch. But for us to play well, we just have to be ourselves. So everyone encourages us to be loud.
So what is the truth then about footballers having interests outside of football? Because as you know, I spent 10 years hosting for BT Sport, Premier League, Champions League. And I often was sitting there hearing ex-footballers say, oh, this player's distracted by something that's going on outside the game, you know, whether it's like a fashion brand. And, you know, we've seen footballers really badly criticised. I mean, you know, a couple former Everton players like, you know, Tom Davies, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You remember when they literally went to a fashion show. It made every newspaper, it made every social media post. What's the truth when people say, if you have something going on outside of football, it distracts you from football? What is the truth?
It's weird because like, we are humans. I think everyone forgets that we're humans as well. Like, we have a life outside of football. So there'll be a lot of people, I'm sure everyone's not just football. Otherwise, you could go mad.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a lot of people in my team that love golf. Golf's not, some people say you could get hurt if you swing a certain way. Like, everyone has things they love doing. So, like, Tom Davies and Dom, I remember when I first joined Everton, and to me, their style's a bit crazy. So when they used to come in that mad outfits, I'm like, whoa. And people are like, oh, you need to focus on football, like just wear a night tracksuit and come into training. But they're just being themselves. And I always encourage it because being you, that's who you should be. You shouldn't be listening to the outside noise, focus on what works for you.
So can I ask you then about that post-AFCON final where you caught an awful lot of abuse and he came off in Instagram? What was it about that sort of gave you the encouragement to back away from being you publicly?
On high performance, we often say it's the small things done well, right, that make the biggest difference. And wellness doesn't always come from major changes. Sometimes it's about just upgrading the simple routines that you already do every day. And that's where Bond Charge comes in, a trusted brand known for creating science-backed wellness tools that help with sleep, recovery, and overall performance. And now they've brought that same innovation to something as simple as brushing your teeth. The Bond Charge LED light toothbrush is the only toothbrush that combines sonic power with red and near-red infrared light wavelengths, proven to support healthy teeth and gums. And it's low in radiation, it's easy to travel with, it's got this gorgeous, sleek, matte finish. It makes my teeth feel amazing. And it's a small daily habit reimagined by combining science with something that you do every day. And with over 250,000 happy customers, you can already trust Bond Charge to deliver products that actually work. That's why I use them. And if you want a discount, and use code HP15 to save 15% on everything across the site at bondcharge.com. This episode is sponsored by Xero Accounting Software. Now, one of the most frequent questions I get is, how do I stay calm, Jake, when the pressure starts to mount? And the answer is actually always the same: preparation. It's the work you do months, even years before your deadline that dictates your performance on the day. And right now, we're approaching a huge shift for 2.7 million sole traders and landlords. Making tax digital is the biggest change to personal tax in a generation. And while the first deadline isn't until April, the high-performance move is not to wait. It's to start building your digital habits now. From April, HMRC will require sole traders and landlords with qualifying income to keep digital records and send quarterly updates. Now, you could use a basic bridging tool just to get by, which is just surviving. But to thrive, think about a system like Xero. Think about the confidence of knowing exactly where you stand. With Xero, you see an up-to-date view of your finances and an estimated tax bill after every update. No more year-end surprises, no more last-minute scrambles, just simplicity. Snap a receipt on your phone, on the go, you connect your bank so transactions flow in automatically, and suddenly
You've turned a mountain of admin into a manageable daily routine. And whether it's managing your property income or your small business, Xero puts everything on one platform with one price that grows with you. Look, don't see this as a tax burden. See this as the moment you finally took full control of your business's destiny. Get Making Tax digital ready with 90% off Xero for 6 months. Just visit xero.com/highperformance. That's Xero with an X. Terms apply.
Because after the AFCON, I didn't really see a lot until like I came off that because I just wanted to live in the real world. Like I just wanted to be myself with no one questioning, no one bothering me, and literally what I do really matters to like my friends and my people. So I don't really want to hear the outside noise saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing that, shouldn't be doing this." But then you have brand deals, and then you have to people want to see who you are. So I did have to come back, but yeah, I don't like listening to the outside noise. So even now, if I post, I'll let my friends view the comments or someone view like what people are saying. I never go and look or type in my name and see what people are saying about me.
So on that moment after the AFCON match, did you make the mistake of going on and seeing the criticism and then delete the account, or what happened there?
Nah, so I was just very disappointed. I just wanted to be by myself after the AFCON final. And I came off it, I think like literally instantly. So the next day, Victor Semen, the main striker, he's knocked on my door. Like I thought I was late for something. The way he knocked on my door, I thought I was in trouble. He banged on my door and said, "Lo, like Alex, I need to talk to you." And I thought, is something serious? Like, am I in trouble? He said, "Alex, I don't like what the media is saying about you." And I'm like, "What are they saying? I can't see. I'm off." And he goes, "Yeah, they're saying that the media has affected you. Like you've done so much for Nigeria." And I'm like, "Bro, I just literally woke up. That why I'm good." He goes, "No, I just want to make sure you're good." And that's when I first found out that people are talking about me. But then I just said to Victor, like, "I don't care, like I'm good." And he goes, "Oh, I just wanted to make sure." Then we were just circling around and we were traveling back to Nigeria, and it became a big deal that I had to come back on Instagram just to make sure to tell everybody that I'm mentally in a good place. I just wanted to come off of that peace of mind.
And did it affect you when he told you that's what people were saying?
Yeah and no, because I don't want people thinking I'm in a bad place.
Yeah.
Like, and there's people going through a lot worse in this world, and like, if you're going through something, I always say like, tell people, like speak to someone. So I didn't want people thinking like I'm in need of desperate help because I was actually okay. So when he told me that, I was like, "Oh, I feel like I need to put a message out there." So I remember me and my team put together like our own mini podcast, mini interview, just to tell people what's going through my mind, and I can say it to everyone that I was always okay.
So that sounds like you've thought about your inner circle and making sure that they're on board with how you receive the information. What kind of conversations have you had with those that are close to you then to make sure they're giving you the right information rather than all the noise that you describe?
I mean, if anything's ever too negative, the first person to tell me is my dad. He's always looking on Twitter. He's an ex now. He's always on there.
But then he tells you what people are saying.
Yeah, no, that's just my dad. Like, he's always on there. He would tell, like, my peoples are here now. He sends them everything about me. He's a very proud guy, I have to say. Yeah. But yeah, so like he would probably tell me, my team was, if anything's ever that bad, they'll say, "Oh, Alex, maybe we need to do this." But this is why my team good, because we always like to control our own narrative in the sense where like I like to put out, if you're going to hear something, it's going to come from me, not from just hearing rumours.
So what about, though, in terms of relation to your performance, how do they give you feedback? Have you had the conversation about like how they deliver it, when they deliver it, what areas that you're willing to listen to them on?
Well, they obviously, my dad, my friends always give their opinions, but it's more on the mental stage. It's like, "Oh, you did good, like keep going, da da da." But if I really want that help with football, I speak to like my coach and my manager and like my teammates, saying like everything's really positive. There's never really negative. Even if there's like something to improve on, it's not like no one's shouting, no one's yelling at me. They just come in a calm manner. But yeah, no one ever delivers messages to me like in a mad way. Everyone's like really positive. So, and it's been like that from, even when I was at Everton, I was going through like difficulties on the pitch. They always say, "Don't worry, you get back. Like, it was never like anything negative. They always pushed me to go on.
And can you give an example though of like a bit of feedback from your inner circle that has made a real positive difference to you?
For example, at Everton, when there was times I wasn't playing and I was on attack, I'm more like a winger trying to get goals. My team, my dad said, my teams proposed to my dad, oh, Alex should maybe do extra finishing and maybe it'll help him get his goals. And I was a bit stubborn at first saying, oh, I don't want to pay no one to go and do finishing. I could just go and do it myself. But then I listened to my team. We went to somewhere in Manchester and we just worked on my finishing like once a week. And yeah, it helped me. It helps me build confidence to get on the pitch and literally just shoot from anywhere as much as I can. So just little things like that, my team will help.
I think one of the real secrets to being an elite sportsman or being in the public eye like you is the ability to deal with rejection, with criticism, with people having a conversation about you that you're not part of. And actually, if we look back through your story, like rejection is a pretty common theme. And I wonder whether actually you can now reflect on what happened early in your career and find some gratitude for the fact that your resilience was built at an early age. And for people in the room that don't know, I think it would be nice to sort of tell them the story of what happened to you when you were just 14 years old at Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm born in May, so I'm one of the late ones in my year. So when I was 14, I wasn't like fully physically developed like everyone else in my year. So I've always been lucky. I was technically good, but I wasn't like far strong. I was quite small. So they always said to me, "Oh, like you're not strong enough to play with your own age group. Like keep working on your technical ability. Hopefully you develop over the time." So at 14, I almost got let go. So that was difficult in a sense where you have that, you have schoolwork. There's a lot you're trying to balance, and I'm thinking, then you're going into school. I was not favoured in school because I was quite slow as well when I was 14. But they'll say, and I went to a rugby school, which did not help because I'm skinny and I'm slow. I'm not winning anything at rugby. But then they were like, oh, you think he's the Arsenal kid, he thinks he's good and da 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 da. But when I was 15, 16, it turned around because I started growing and I played for England. And that's when it started to change, when Arsenal started rating me a bit more, saying, oh, like, he's developing. And even at 16 was even tough because everyone that played for England, my age group, got offered a professional contract, but I was the only one that didn't. So there was like so many names, there was like six of them that got offered a professional contract.
How do you find that out?
So you find out, obviously everyone, I don't know if everyone knows about Hayland. Hayland's where the Arsenal Academy is. And at the time it was, I believe, Liam Brady. He was telling us, they actually said to me, you're going to get a scholarship, but if you want to go to another club, feel free to look. I thought, what does that mean? Like, do you want me or not, sort of thing? So then I actually looked at Crystal Palace, looked at Celtic. I went to the Crystal Palace training ground and had a look. But then, like you said, I've been through a lot of rejection. With rejection, whenever I get told I'm not good enough, I always like to prove that I am good enough to stick around. So I said, me and my dad said, we're not going nowhere. We're going to prove that I'm good enough to play for Arsenal.
But you said earlier that about the social media that you like to control the narrative. What story were you telling yourself, though? Because you're hearing the messages that they're not sure about you. What was it that convinced you? Yeah.
I always believed I was good enough. Like the same friends that are here today, most of them are back, like from back then as well. And they always used to tell me, "No, and it's like, you're sick, you're good, man. Like you can do whatever, da, 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 da. Like you do things with the ball that no one else does." I'm like, yeah. Then my dad will say the same thing. Then my uncle would say the same thing. So I'm like, if these lot see it, I need to prove to the other people that don't see it that I can play football. So yeah, just literally believe myself that one day it will turn around and I'll change their opinion.
So did you have a conversation with Liam Brady to ask him, what do I need to improve, or what is it that I need to do to convince you?
He always said, we need you to physically develop.
Right.
That's what he always used to say to me, because I wasn't the quickest until like 18. I was one of the slowest, but I could always run for days, but I was just very slow. So he just said, maybe over time. And he actually believed, saying, over time, I'm sure it will come, but just right now, we're not sure about you.
And at what point did your career at Arsenal start to involve Arsene Wenger? When did you first start getting regular interactions with him?
When I was 18. But the good thing about Arsenal, when you're a scholar, there's a lot of players go on international break. There's so many players that always go play for their country. So they're always losing a lot of players. So they need players to fill training sessions. So they'll call people from the under 18s. So there'll be a lot of times I'll go and train with the 18s. And this is another reason why I can play numerous positions, because I'll be playing right back, I'll play left back, I'll play centre mid, I'll play striker in training. I remember one time I played right back and Arteta was getting on to me. He was saying, Alex, no, he didn't even know my name. He said, hey, you need to do better. And I thought, yo, this is tough. At 16, here and now, I need to do better. And I'm playing right back. So that's when Arsene Wenger, I think, started to realise who I am. And then the more you train well, the more you get called over, and it literally picked up when I was 18.
And is there a story or an anecdote about Wenger that gives you a hint of how special he was?
The older I'm getting, the more I'm realizing like he's not a man that says many words. Like I used to think like, why is he so quiet? Why is he so chill? But when he speaks, when he walks in, everyone's just silent. There's only two people I've seen do that. It's him and Carlo Ancelotti, where they can just walk in and everyone's just like this. No one says anything. And obviously, because he was my first manager, I was thinking, why is no one talking? Why is no one saying? Because I had Steve Bold before that, like Steve Gatton, they walk in and everyone's still talking. But with him, yeah, it's just he's had this mad presence, mad aura. And then even like when he speaks to me, I'm like, I don't even know what to say. So his presence, his aura, and when he talks, he does a lot of knowledge. Like he understands the game, and especially youngsters, he's always talking to youngsters trying to improve your game.
So when you were a youngster and you were just coming through, what would he be saying to you? Even if it wasn't a lot, what was he saying?
For me, because I was playing in midfield a lot of the time, he's just saying like composure, like stay calm and composed, relax when you're on the ball, take your time. Of course, training sessions like maximum 3 touches in the pitch. So, but he always say to me, stay composed, you got a lot more time than you think. Because there'll be times when I first started training first team, the intensity is high, so I'm feeling like I need to get my pass off quick before someone comes and bullies me and barges me. Like Francis Coquelin cleaned me one time in training. I thought, I don't want to feel that pain again, so I'm trying to rush the pass. When he said, no, take your time, breathe. Then when you're watching the likes of Urs or you're like watching Santi Cazorla and Jack Wilshere, they're playing like there's no pressure. So then the more I'm training and the more he's telling me that, I'm realizing, like if once you have a good touch, you actually have more time than you think.
And when you first started playing with the first team and you saw those amazing talents, the Wilshires and the Ozils and the Santi Cazorlas and many others, how present was imposter syndrome? Was there a voice in your head asking you if you were good enough to be there, or did you always have the belief that you were?
No, I always had the belief. Because I would never look like I'm out of place. And always after a training session, like even though I got cleaned up by Coquelin, he would tell me you're training well. Like you say, you're doing well. Mertesacker all the time used to be in my ear saying, Alex, like you're doing really good. And even there was one time Koscielny, and he's another person that doesn't speak, said to me, you're doing well. So I was like, okay, I must be doing something right. And because the manager's always talking to me, he gives you that confidence that you're doing well anyway. And yeah, I really enjoyed it because like the more I see youngsters come up now, sometimes the managers don't always talk to the young players like what to work on and what to improve on.
And was there a specific moment when you felt, I'm comfortable here, that I can do this?
I think pre-season tour in Singapore, when I got called up and I was like, wow, like I'm really going away with the first team, with the men's team, and like I'm representing them. And then I played in the Emirates Cup against Lyon, and I played when I scored, and I thought, wow. Because in the moment, you just think, Arsenal's like, it's top, the intensity is high. I don't know if I'm going to cope when I'm playing other teams, but because I was grateful to be playing in a team that was one of the best in the world, best players in the world, when you play against other teams, other players, it's not as hard. So I thought, if I can cope here playing for Arsenal and play the way I played against Lyon or Singapore Tour, I can play literally anywhere.
And what year was that tournament when you felt like, yeah, okay, I belong here?
I can't remember. I was 18. I was 18 in Singapore thinking, wow, I'm literally handling myself here.
And how long after that was it when Arsene Wenger left and was replaced?
I must have been 21. I was 21.
You were 21,
years, yeah.
so maybe 3 years
3 or
later.
4 years, yeah.
I'm interested in that period transition because there was a period where at Arsenal, do you remember the planes flying overhead, Wenger out, the chants, the banners, that toxic atmosphere, and you're one of the young players trying to perform in that, and then suddenly this like legendary manager leaves and Unai Emery comes in. What are your memories of that period and trying to protect yourself in that environment?
From what I remember, obviously there was a lot of pressure on us. Like we can hear it, even though people say like focus, like you don't let distractions get into you or get into the team. Everyone could hear it because like we're being compared to like the Invincibles and we're not doing well. And I think some ex-players are saying, yeah, it's not the same Arsenal. Then there's like the time when there was Arsenal fan TV, it was literally growing up. Yeah.
And would the players see the Arsenal fan TV?
I know most of them will say no, but players did see it because there'll be times, I'm not going to say exactly what was said. There'll be times where like one person will get trolled by another player, calling them the names that will be said by like troops. And I'm like, because I'm one of the young ones, so I know, I can hear it. I see it on my Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm like, Rod, you lot watch it. Like, you're actually hearing what they call each other. But they're always deny, no, we don't watch it. I'm like, how do you know that nickname then? But yeah, everyone could see what's going on like social media back then.
And did it start to create cliques and divisions that in the dressing room?
I think from the first time I started playing up, there is a bit of like a division, but it's not. Like they are one team, but you naturally tend to go to like French players will speak with the French players, Spanish players will stay with the Spanish players, the English players will stay with the English players. It's always the case. Even like now at Fulham, even though we're very good, like one team, the Brazilians stay with each other, Spanish stay with each other. The UK boys, like me, Emil, Calvin, Cess, we all stay with each other, but we still like have good banter with everyone. But it's everywhere I go is always like that.
I think the interesting thing about that period with Arsenal Fan TV and all that criticism is that people often don't see footballers as human beings.
Yeah.
Right? They just think they're immune to it. And I'd love to hear from a current footballer about what it actually does, the impact that it does have, or what it does do to your confidence or your form or your ability to play well when all that stuff is going on, when you're sort of in that toxic environment.
It's tough for me to understand what actual players were going through because I was one of the young ones then. So like, I think the most I probably speak was probably with Danny Welbeck at the time, and he just says like he doesn't care about social media. Even that now, he don't really do anything with social media. Like he's always been like that. But like Theo the same. He just locked in with football. Mate, I never really spoke to him about social media, but I don't think it affected them that much because they'll still come into training and give 100%. Maybe internally they were going through things, but I would never know because I was never close enough then to ask them like what's really going through your mind. I was just a youngster just minding my own business.
But if we fast forward further on in your career, when you were at Everton, where there was lots of turmoil surrounding the club and the team, what was your experience of that outside noise then?
Yeah, that's when I started learning about things, and especially me, a Londoner, used to having a lot more possession of the ball, to going to Everton where, with all due respect to Everton back then, their main focus was slide tackling people, smashing people, running hard. And it's never been in my nature. So they used to be, this Londoner's so soft. He needs to focus on getting the ball back. He does one fancy flick, and I'm just thinking, bro, like I'm trying to adapt to it. And obviously, for me, even though we're in a foreign country, it felt like a foreign country because the Scouse language is a bit mad for me. So I couldn't understand what they were saying at first. But the one thing about Scouse is they're so friendly. They're so friendly. They're so welcoming. But in terms of like in the team, even though there was a lot of toxic like things going around us because we weren't performing the best off to the standards we know we could have when we had the great players that we did. Like everyone was still like, we were still close to still do things together. We'll go out for meals and everyone was close, but of course we were disappointed in ourselves. We always coming to train. Everyone's always working hard in training. That's one thing with Everton. Everyone's smashing each other in training. That's standard. So everyone's working hard. So I'll never say anyone was like mentally down, but we just knew that we could do better.
It's interesting though what you say about feeling almost like you were playing abroad when you just moved to a new city. And I think we often don't really give players credit for actually what a difference it makes to suddenly transfer to a new club. People expect you just to pick up and play exactly as you were. What are the challenges of changing football clubs?
Yeah, so
like most parents, the mornings for me often start in full chaos mode. The kids trying to get out the door, somebody needs help finding their school shoes, Belle the dog is running around putting mud everywhere, and I'm already thinking ahead to the fact I've got to get to London for a podcast conversation, so I need to be switched on. And in all of that, I honestly used to forget to think about myself, and it did catch up with me. I would turn up here in the studio feeling a bit run down, a bit sluggish, sometimes a bit snappy with people, a bit of brain fog. You know, where you're awake, but you're not really present. And a couple of years ago, I started taking Vitals by Heights. I'm a genuine customer of theirs. Just 2 small capsules genuinely made me feel like myself again. This is a powerful blend of vitamins, nutrients, minerals, omega-3, all the Bs, basically everything that you need to feel clear, energized and steady. My wife now takes it. My parents take it as well. And if you want something that supports your nutrition, your energy, your focus and your overall health without adding any hassle, then I believe this is it. And you don't have to just trust me, because this is taken by athletes, by Olympians, by everyday people who need to show up consistently. The proof is there that this works. And if you're looking to fuel right this year, head to heights.com/Jake or use the code HP20 at checkout for 20% off your first month and start your Heights journey today. Did you know that Seattle has been living and breathing soccer for decades? So way back in the 70s and 80s, the city welcomed global icons like Pelé to the pitch. And in that city, it sparked a love for the game that I think has never faded. And I've traveled around America a lot, and I see such passion in Seattle. And now they're about to shine on the world stage because the World Cup is in Seattle in 2026, where you've got a city and the stadium is just steps from downtown. It's so cool. And it's not just convenient, it's also iconic. You know, this is built with the World Cup in mind, this stadium. It's famous as one of the loudest in the world, home to the Seattle Seahawks and the Seattle Sounders. So you can walk out of that match and you can go straight into the buzz of Seattle life. And we're talking craft beers, beautiful wine, incredible food. The coffee culture is something that I love in that place. It's not just a World Cup destination. We're talking about a city built around football fans, and it delivers an amazing experience. So if you want to feel the experience in Seattle, discover more at visitseattle.org and start planning your perfect summer of football.
I can only talk about my experience.
Yeah.
I was away at AFCON, had a good AFCON. I've come back. I've been told by Unai Emery, you get 2 weeks extra, go enjoy your holidays. I'm in Dubai with my family having a good time. They signed Nicolas Pepe, great player as well, by the way, not to say anything bad, he's a great player. And I thought, if you really want me, why are you signing another winger? Like, what's going on here? But I didn't think anything of it. My agent told me, said, Everton not interested. I said, oh, that's nice to hear. Like, no, just around this, that's nice to hear. I'm in Dubai, in the ocean, minimal signal. My agent's calling me. I'm like, oh, I can't hear what you say. Like, I can't hear you. He goes, Marco Silva wants to talk to you. I'm like, all right. Marco Silva tells me, oh, Alex, we think you suit our playing style. And I'm thinking, oh, mad. Like, I appreciate it. It's nice to hear. Then next thing you know, Arsenal have sent off like my medical documents. So before I even get a chance to say yes or no, Arsenal basically saying, we don't mind you going. Wow. I was like, oh, all right, fair enough. This could be. So I spoke to my parents, literally my parents and my sister on the boat, and I thought, maybe it's time for me to step out my comfort zone, become a man, go somewhere different. Anyways, fast forward, landed in London. I've literally had to shoot up north I don't know if anyone knows about the Titanic in Liverpool. It's a dark hotel, big room, you're by yourself, just you and your thoughts. And it's so lonely in that hotel.
I've stayed in the hotel and you're right. Tiny windows, so
big, dark. Yeah. But then I'm like, oh, like, what have I done here? Like, I'm by myself here. Anyways, cool.
How long were you there for?
Overall, I'll say 2-3 months, but there was international breaks, so I wasn't there all the time.
And is it hard when you're suddenly in a hotel?
Yeah, it is, because like I've always been an Arsenal kid. Arsenal's always what I knew. So to go stay in a hotel, I literally just moved out by myself as well. So now I've moved out of apartment to going in a hotel that's dark all the time. Even though I was with like Moise Keane, his English wasn't the greatest at the time, so we didn't even really hang out, but he's my boy and he's my close friend. But then like, I'm trying to understand what Scousers are saying. I couldn't understand when they said, do you want something to eat? I'm not used to not eating my mum's cooking. Like, if I wanted to go to the shop, I could do that in London. I was half scared to do it in Liverpool, just to go to the shop. But one thing about Everton, like, everyone made it easy. Well, as long as I'm going to training, they'll give me food to take home. That was the easy bit. But it's just like, I'm away from my friends, I'm away from my family. Oh, nice.
Don't worry, no one even noticed. You're absolutely.
Yeah. But can I jump in there though, Alex? Because you've sort of skipped over the bit of you're in Dubai, you get the call that Arsenal are willing to let you go. You have a brief conversation with Marco Silva. What kind of questions are you asking him? Because it sounds like you're almost a pawn in this. The club have decided that that's the place you're going to go to because they'll pay the fee. But what are you asking him whether it's a right fit for you?
I didn't even have to ask him. He just kept on saying to me, you fit into our team. We're going to play you. It's what everyone does when you're trying to build things and put positive things in someone's head. So like, you're going to play number 10. You're going to do this. You create so many chances for Arsenal. You can do that for Everton. The players are going to like you. You can chill with this person. So you're just putting things in my head. I don't have time to ask, like, what's this like? He's built like everything's just perfect. That's what he made it seem like.
But do you ask him questions about how do you develop a player? How do you give feedback? How are you going to improve me? Do you get a chance to do that?
No, I didn't get the chance because it was on deadline day as well. So there was not enough time for me to ask those questions. Like, it was literally, he said, what do you think? Are you willing to do this? I'm like, give me 5 minutes, let me speak with my family. And then they said, yeah. Then I called my agent and said, yeah, we're down to do it. So I didn't get time to ask, like, how's your player management like? What's the liaison like? What's the training ground like? Do you have this facilities? I didn't get time to ask that.
But if you had your time again and you had more time, what are the kind of questions based on the experience you've had that you would encourage somebody to be asking if they were in a similar situation?
What's the player care like? As in, like, the liaisons, the people you can go to when you're struggling for like, I don't know, for food, or if you want to go to, I don't know, supermarkets, you want to go to the nearest train station, just things like that. Because it's only even though I did eventually find out that, but I just feel like that because in case, like, whenever I just wanted to feel homesick, for example, just want to get on a train and go back to London.
Sure.
But I think I would have asked that for sure.
I get a sense that there was like almost a bit of loneliness in those early days at Everton. You're suddenly, 1 minute you're on holiday, the next minute the club you joined as a boy has basically said, we don't want you. You've ended up in 24 hours moving to another football club, and suddenly you know nothing about the place you're in and you're just there on your own in a hotel.
Yeah, it's literally just like that. But in fairness to Everton, like I said, they were very welcoming. Like, very, very welcoming. The players, they're so nice.
Magic Football Club.
Yeah, no. Even like one person in particular, Seamus Coleman, nicest guy ever. Even to this day, whenever I see him, we message each other. He's the nicest guy ever. He definitely helped my time there.
And how did you cope with the message from Arsenal that we think we're going to let you go?
I was like, at least let me make the decision for myself. Like, I didn't have to do a medical. At least, like, if I wanted to go, let me say I want to go. They just said, like, here you go, here's these files. We know he's on holiday, like, he's good to go. I just thought, are you sure you guys really want me? And you no disrespect to Pepe again, you just signed Pepe.
Yeah.
I was like, fair enough. I don't know if I'm really going to play. Then what's crazy, even though I was like, I just moved, Arsenal played against Liverpool maybe like 3 weeks after that. So I'm coming back to my hotel. I've seen the whole team. I've seen Nicolas Pepe as well. I've seen, and Unai Emery's seen me and he pulled me for a chat saying, it wasn't his decision. It was the club's decision. They couldn't sell any other player and the most money they could get was from you. So I was like, fair enough. He said, this is football, that I respect you as a football player. Even today, when he played Aston Villa, he shakes my hand, he asks how's my family. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But it's just, that made me realise that football's also a business.
So
just to pick up, that's a really important point, actually, that as a footballer, you can be made to feel so important. You're earning great money, you're so well looked after, like you're being lauded and celebrated, millions of followers. But you also pretty much have no control over the direction that your career takes. If your club decides that you're done, you're done. It's a strange situation, that, isn't it?
I mean, you can ultimately say no, but then sometimes you get frozen out. I could be asked to just be frozen out. So I just took it as my own self. But yeah, it does happen a lot in football.
So you mentioned Unai Emery there in terms of that conversation. Your period at Everton sort of then coincided with a number of different coaches.
Yeah.
Who were the ones that sort of unlocked something in you and got a potential out of you that maybe you didn't know was there?
Well, obviously, Marco at the time, it was very short, but he always said to me, like, he can be a difference maker. It's a shame it happened when he left. But the two that stand out for me were Duncan Ferguson, because he himself showed me what Everton's about, just the passion, he's like a fan, like he's like one of us. Like he comes into training, he's just excited, he's giving everyone energy, and like when he was the manager, everyone was fighting for him. Yeah. Everyone respected him, like he's a legend there. So he taught me about literally just giving 100%. Because before that, don't get me wrong, I could give 100%, but I wouldn't go and fly into tackles. But he's the one that made me do that. And then the second one's everyone, I say all the time, Frank Lampard. And he, in a sense, I always say he denies it. I say he resurrected my career because it was at the time when he was signed, there was Rafa Benitez beforehand. I wasn't in favour with him. he's a guy that doesn't like having possession of the ball. He's more what you do with the ball. And I like to keep the ball sometimes and play. And I was a winger that maybe didn't run in behind and attack in behind the way he liked. So more time I was on the bench, I wasn't playing. And then it was at the AFCON where I just got a red card. I've came back and I've been told that I'm meant to go on loan to a team in Turkey. And I thought, no, I can't do this. This can't be me. No disrespect to the team in Turkey, by the way. But then Frank Lampard's come in literally as my AFCON's finishing, and he said, he didn't know what to expect of me at the time, him and Joe Edwards and Ashley Cole. They didn't know what to expect of me. They've heard things about me. Obviously, they've seen me in the past, but because I was in favour at Everton, they didn't know what to expect. But one thing, I'm lucky, I'm always good in training. So then I remember Frank and Joe Edwards pulled me for a chat, said, why don't you play like this? The way you train is excellent. Why don't you play like this in matches? I said, the way I was told Rafa Benitez, just set the ball and try running behind. He goes, nah, like play your game. So when we're talking about like being me, Frank Lampard just said, be you. And that's literally what worked for me.
So when you have a manager that wants you to do something that just doesn't feel natural, is there an opportunity to go, no, that's not my game. Like, let me express myself on the pitch?
I tried that with Carlo Ancelotti. I learned the hard way. Honestly, I learned
Tell
the
us
hard
the story.
It's a moment of madness from me though. So like, everyone knows I like to get on the ball. I like to play football. I like to like 1 and 2 touch and keep the ball. And he just didn't see me as that player. So then there'll be opportunities for me to play, and I'm playing right wing back, playing right back, I'm playing right midfield, and he's literally saying, when you get the ball, which I do get, give it to James Rodriguez, give it to like Alan, give it to other people. I thought I can do something as well, like I got a bit, surely. And then there was one time, social media, I said, I wish I could play my preferred position. I put it on my story, and he got asked in the press conference. Then he said, then he come to me and said, where do you usually play? I said, well, in the academy, I played in midfield, as number 10, number 8. He goes, okay, we're going to try it next game. We tried against Burnley. It was like 2-0 at half-time. And Dwight McNeil, I remember, scored a banger. He said, Alex, we're putting you left wing. Played left wing the second half for 10 minutes, got dragged. I think the next 4 games I didn't play again. So I said, wow, I don't think I'm ever going to talk up on social media or talk up to him again.
So what went wrong in that game?
I personally didn't feel like I had a bad game.
Yeah.
Maybe I did, but I just didn't see it. Because I thought I was getting on the ball, I was playing forward, and from what I remember, I didn't lose the ball. I probably lost the ball like twice. I remember counting because I was thinking, wow, did I play that bad to get moved and dragged off the pitch? But then he just said I feel that he feels that I didn't have the impact like James Rodriguez has, where he's always going to create something. Maybe I just wasn't doing that.
But there's something here about trust, isn't there? That somebody actually trusting you, and it sounds like that's what Frank and Joe Edwards gave you, that sense of trust. What does that do for your performance when you feel that a manager just has that level of trust in you?
Yeah, for me, when a manager has trusted me, I like I'm not scared to try things. Even if I lose the ball, I want to get on the ball again and try and make something. That's the sort of player I like to make things happen, like to create a chance, like to play the ball forward. So when a manager's telling me just, go do that. Even if you lose the ball, go do it again, because we know 9 times out of 10, you're not going to lose the ball, you're going to create something. So when the manager's telling me just literally go do you almost feel unstoppable. You feel like every time you get the ball, you're going to do something.
Because that ties in with like all the research, like within elite sport, it's often dubbed as psychological safety. The idea that you can make mistakes and it's not held against you. You can make an error and you don't get singled out for it.
Yeah, no, it does help. It does help who you're around, you surround yourself with. And I've had different managers, different players around Everton. But that time when I had Frank Lampard and Joe Edwards, then I've always had Seamus Coleman here saying, you're a good player, just to express yourself. Leighton Baines, even like when we played against Everton recently, he said, it's nice to see that you're free. I had Fabian Delph. There was normally the older players that would say it to me. The younger players didn't really say, they're not going to tell someone older than them to go and be yourself. But the older players used to tell me, like, you're so good, trust yourself. And when you're hearing it from people like Frank Lampard, he's a legend. Hearing it from Fabian Delph, Seamus Coleman, these are legends to me.
Yeah.
Just go be yourself, go play. It's like, wow. If they believe, why don't I believe?
So if you had to put a figure on it in terms of what a difference it made to your performance, what would you say trust did for you?
It does a lot for me. Like almost like 50% of my games on that, in a sense where like if I don't hear those things or don't feel trusted, instead of trying to play the ball forward, I'll probably just set the ball. I won't do nothing. I'll never be one to hide on the ball or hide from getting the ball, but I'll probably just set the ball, play the safest pass and try to keep the ball. But then it's like now, or well, back then to now, when I get on the ball, my first thought always is to go forward, never to do the negative boring pass. I always like to make something happen.
So when do you think this was unlocked? Was it Frank Lampard? Was it leaving Everton and joining Fulham under Marco Silva again? Like, when was the moment that the kind of real Alexander Iwobi was unlocked? Because I look at your music. We're going to talk about your new EP in a minute. I look at your socials, your YouTube. I don't think it's a coincidence that you look free on the pitch, just as you're acting free in your personal life. There's like a real freedom to you now.
Yeah, but then again, when I was at Arsenal, I was also very free in a sense. That's when I was heavily like on Snapchat, and I was just. That's when my dad was trending on Snapchat for he kept on saying safe. So every time he just comes on camera saying safe. So literally, I was free at Arsenal, and that's when I was breaking and I was doing well. So when I'm being told to like tame down and be negative, or not play negative football, but like the others do the job that I feel like I can do. Yeah. So I just felt like, oh yeah, I'm losing that trust, losing that belief. But like, I wouldn't say I've never had it, because before at Arsenal I did, but it was nice. That's why I say Frank resurrected and brought it back in a sense where I can just be me and play how I want to play. And then that was actually the time when I started doing music, but I wasn't putting music out back then when Frank Lampard was the manager.
And what's Marco Silva done to continue to feed that freedom that Frank gave you?
So as soon as I signed, the same thing that he did to get me to Everton, it's the same thing he did for me to come back to Fulham, saying, oh, we believe you, you're a good player, the same. But it's just nice because he's a good manager, he's a very, very good manager. But like, he always said to me, like, he always believed that I can be a difference maker, that in the Prem, I'm always got the stats of creating chances. I'm always like top 5, top 6. So he said, like, just do that for us and we'll be okay. And the goals will come. Like, naturally, the more you get into those positions, then in training, I work on my finishing. And he said, the goals will come. Of course, it's changed a bit now because I play deeper in midfield, but he always told me to do that, and he'll work with me after training. So, yeah. And now, obviously, he knew back then I was releasing music just as I was leaving Everton. So he said, yeah, whatever works for you, whatever keeps you happy, just do it. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
I'm really intrigued by that line that you've used a couple of times in relation to Frank, where you spoke about that it was a resurrection. What have you done to protect yourself now? Because managers come, managers go. So this idea of being able to immunise yourself against that, what changes have you made since then?
What's helped me a lot is actually moving back to London. As much as like being up north was very nice, but moving back to London, I'm very, like, I see my friends on a regular basis. I see my peoples on a regular basis. My mum and dad, especially my dad, he will be around the house once a week just to see how I am. He says it's to collect things from the house, but it's literally just to see how I am. He's coming to my house tomorrow. He says he wants to collect documents. He's lying. And then he'll try and say he wants to see the dogs. He's lying. He wants to see me. I know what he's like. But just seeing like my people, seeing my friends, being happy away from the pitch has definitely helped me on the pitch.
Let's talk about your new EP, More to Life. I mean, I think the fact it's called More to Life sums up what this is about. There is more to life than just being a footballer. So do you look at music and think, one day this is a career, this is the future for me? Like, do you have ambitions to conquer the world of music in the same way you've conquered the world of football?
Even with football, music, I've never looked at it, I'm trying to conquer the world. It's just something I enjoy doing. I really enjoy being in the studio with my friends and just literally playing, hearing a beat, and we're just talking about our lives. That's literally what we always do. So I've never once thought, oh, I want to be the next Drake or I want to be the next Lil Wayne. But
you take that though, right?
Oh, of course, all day, all day. But yeah, I just like doing what I enjoy. So even like music, football, charity stuff, I like going to like homeless shelters and seeing the impact it makes. Just giving someone like a turkey that I did a couple of years ago. I like just doing things like that. I never know what's going to happen from it, but I just do it for myself, and like I enjoy doing those things.
So what does that do for you? Because I know that gathered a lot of press, the fact that you, around Christmas, went and just gave out food to people that were in need. But I don't think you did it for the press. You didn't do it for the accolades or the kudos. You did it because it mattered. Why did it matter?
That one mattered to me, that one in particular, because it was in Newham. It was 2 streets away from my primary school. And when I was in primary school, or in Newham at the time, there was not a lot of people doing those sort of things. And around Christmas, obviously the cost of living is increasing. It's a bit hard for people. And I want people to have a great Christmas. I always have a... Back then, I always had a great Christmas. This Christmas, I was in Morocco, in a room by myself. But usually Christmas, obviously you play football, there's not... But like that element of Christmas, being with your family is amazing. Sometimes people don't have the facilities to have that food to take care. So if I can do anything to benefit and help someone's Christmas, I'm willing to do so. Even like in summer when we do like the football tournaments, bringing communities together, like it's such a great feeling just seeing the outcome and seeing how people are just happy to be there.
And this might sound a bit of a daft question, like, or certainly a leap. You know, when you say that you're in the studio making music and you're with your friends, what are the sort of parallels that you see in that environment that you see in the dressing room?
There's definitely banter. There's always banter. So like, especially with the people I hang around, like Calvin, Cess, Emil, if you have like a bad touch in training, we're letting you know in the change room. If you have a bad lyric in the studio, he will let you know. So like that banter, just being free, it don't matter. Like everyone gives 100%. Like when I'm in the studio, we'll just listen to the beat and we just think, oh, what we're gonna say, there's a topic, we talk about it, and we just banter and whatever comes out, comes out. In football, the same thing. If we're doing finishing and someone scores a banger, they're right for, oh, Mil, you done your thing. Or Cess misses the target, like, Cess, bro, like, come on, man. It's literally that same things, that same feeling, just having that good vibe all the time.
And what are the killers? So let's flip it on its head. What are the killers that can stop creativity or stop a team performing?
I guess, like, it can sometimes, in football, like, if you play against a Man City, you know you're not going to have the ball, and you're just like, oh, you're going into the game thinking, we're going to have not that much possession sort of thing. But we always, when we believe, we always do well against those sort of teams. Like, unfortunately, the first half, I don't know, recently we played them and we thought, we kind of gave them too much respect. But the second half, we just thought, we ain't got nothing to lose now. And we played really well. And then we always ask, so why don't we play like that from the beginning? So it's just like that belief. And it's the same with music. We feel like maybe if you don't hear a beat that you like, oh, I can't go in, I've got writer's block, I can't think of anything. But you actually just have vibes and banter. You eventually get to believe that you can do it. So I feel like you just have to believe with whatever you do. So whether you're playing a Man City, whether you have a tough beat, you just literally have to believe and you'll find a way all the time.
You know what I've really enjoyed about this conversation is that you're someone that gets your energy and you thrive off the company of others. Like if I think about all the things you've spoken about when you're at your happiest, it's when you're surrounded by others. And actually, when you've been at your loneliest and saddest, reading between the lines, it's being in the hotel room in Morocco at Christmas and being stuck in a hotel room when you first signed for Everton and you were lonely. Am I right? Like being on your own is not your thing.
Yeah, I hate being on my own. I mean, sometimes it's nice and healthy, but then I get bored. I'll probably be on FaceTime with someone. I don't know what to do with myself. Unless like, oh no, I'll go to the gym just to waste time, just to keep myself active. When I get time to think by myself, I get bored and start thinking, oh, what am I going to do? I'll start playing Candy Crush. Literally. So, but yeah, I like being surrounded by people. Because I've always been surrounded by people, like with my family, my household, my friends. It's always been the case. And when I'm by myself, I think, oh, this is boring, this is weird.
And as somebody, like say your EP is more to life, as somebody approaching 30, so in footballing terms, you're nearer the end than the beginning. What are you starting to
Brutal.
Yeah, wow.
but what is more to life after football for you?
Good question. Well, I'm grateful once again to my dad and my family that I've invested. So whatever I want to do, I can take my sweet time. But more to life in a sense where like, I'm not just a footballer, I am human. I like to enjoy the things that other people do as well as football. So that's where more to life comes from. I don't know what I'm going to do after football, but music will probably be a part of it as well.
And is it nice to sit and have a conversation about being a human rather than just sit and be interviewed about football?
Yeah, of course, because like, I'm not just a footballer. I'd like to tell people like, it's a little thing me and my friends say all the time. if someone that doesn't know me asks what I do, I always say I'm human. What does that mean? Like, then I told them what I do. They're like, oh, you play football? I said, well, I also do this. Oh, like, how do you balance it? So like, I just say, that's why I say to you, I'm human. So when I have conversation, I always say to people, I'm human first.
I think that's so interesting. So you are a man that plays football. You're not a footballer.
No, I always say that. People will deny it. They say, you're a footballer. Yeah, I hear it, but I'm human first.
Wonderful. Right, we've got some quickfire questions to finish with. First of all, what are the 3 non-negotiable behaviours, the 3 most important behaviours that you think we should look for in life?
Confidence and belief. That is a given. Otherwise, you won't get to anywhere without that. I've gathered that. I feel like it's very important the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Because I always say without who I'm with, my family, my friends, I wouldn't be where I am today. Oh, it's a tough one, the third one.
Hard work.
But everyone says hard work.
Yes.
It's cliche. I mean, you can say hard work. I'll go hard work for safety. I'll go hard work for safety.
Well, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I was interested when we were researching about your relationship with Saka at Arsenal, and you had some interesting observations about him, and humility was something that you said stood out.
Yeah, because when he was breaking in, when he started training the first team, you can always, like, he's always had that talent. He was very good, like 1v1. He would shoot and it would be like, oh, so there's always an all moment in training. But it was just very raw, it wasn't polished. But like, he wasn't like, there were a lot of egos coming through to train, and especially like London boys, like, I'm cold and pass me the ball, man. But he never had that. He was always like very humble, very chilled. And even the way he is now, he's the same guy. So I remember back then when you said, no, this guy's going to be a player, it's definitely going to be a talent. Because in training, like, he was very good, but he was also very grounded.
So what age would he have been?
Bukayo was like, 4 years younger than me. So he'd have been like 17 at the time. 17 at the time.
Back to quickfire questions. What's the single best piece of advice you've ever received and why?
Express yourself. Always don't be afraid to express yourself. Got it from my uncle, JJ Kocha. And he said it to me once, and then I just literally watched how he lived his life. And obviously I'm lucky because he's my uncle, so I used to see him off the pitch as well as on the pitch. I remember one time I went to Bolton training ground, and Sam Allardyce, serious manager, doesn't really joke around like that. And he's just dancing and he's coming to kick the ball with me. And I think Ivan Campo, Kevin Nolan saying, hey, JJ. And he's just like in his own world. And when it's Christmas and we're back home, he's just dancing, he's just a vibe. He was just the definition of express yourself. Always play football with a smile on your face. So when I'm watching him, I'm just learning and just saying, just be yourself. So that's where I got it from.
Nice.
Brilliant.
What is your biggest strength?
I would like to say that I'm positive. I don't like to think negative. If there's a negative thought and something negative happens, I got it from my dad. Just think of a solution straight away. Don't dwell on the negativity. So I feel like that's my best strength.
Your greatest weakness?
It used to be listening to, like, obviously you have to listen to your coaches. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I used to listen to my coaches a bit too much, in a sense where like Rafa Benitez literally restricted the way I wanted to play. So I feel like sometimes I could take it by myself and take the ownership on that. So I'll take a shot sometimes or pass the ball or play forward. And sometimes I listen to him like play negative. I feel like listening to the wrong advice sometimes, if that's a weakness.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a young Alex just starting out?
If you want to achieve, go for it. Like, believe in yourself. There's always going to be people doubting you and saying you're not good enough. As long as you believe you're good enough, then that's okay.
And the final question, Alex, is what does high performance mean to you?
For me, high performance, I've always said, is like, play the way you train the way you play, and you're going to get the best out of yourself. So in training, whatever you're doing, if you want high performance, you have to work hard, you have to train hard, you have to almost like do whatever it takes to get there. So in training, I'm doing 100%. And in matches, it will emulate, I'll start giving 100%.
I love that. Listen, it's been so interesting to sit with a current player who just lifts the veil a little bit on what actually goes on under the skin of football, but also someone who reveals to us that he's so much more than just a footballer. I think all of us are excited to learn more about your music. I think it's a really exciting thing for the future for you. One final question. What does everyone else think when they turn around at goals and see Alex Iwobi playing football?
I mean, he could answer it because he's there sometimes, but he's not going to answer. I try to disguise myself. It's obviously a bit of an issue with this hair. I normally wear like a snood balaclava, and also when the summer's hard, it's too hot. But I normally wear a balaclava. But I remember recently after AFCON, I shouldn't have, but I didn't waste no time. Literally, I think it was 2 days after the third and fourth place, I went to Pauli, 5-a-side goals with my friends straight away. And like the kids are like, is that him? Is he back already? Why? And then they said, what? It would be like, when you're at AFCON like a couple of days ago, what are you doing in Dagenham? And I'm like, sorry man, I just want to play football with my friends. They're like, nah man, that's sick. That's sick. Can we play? I'm like, nah, you can't play. It's not my session.
You can watch, you can't play.
They watched for 5 minutes and then they left.
I love the idea of you turning up in a balaclava.
Yeah, no, all the time, especially because it's cold. Summer's a bit harder.
What a really fascinating evening for everybody here. Thank you so much for taking the time. And ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Alex Iwobi.